Do pictures really depict circumstances with accuracy, or are they just, at best, a muse or a ruse for the world to see? Of course, pictures can tell us many things. They contain multitudes. Most importantly, however, they tell stories. Stories of happy events like birthdays and weddings and parties, yes, but also darker narratives, if you know where to look. Pictures can capture darkness. They may even contain nightmares. It's only a matter of perspective. Look closely and you might just find that what looks like a normal picture has a horrifying backstory to it. In this video, we're going to have a look at 8 seemingly normal pictures and give you the rundown on the creepy backstories behind their making. These stories will make you question everything, and you might even learn how to pull back the layers on different images, and see what's underneath the floorboards. Here are 8 seemingly normal stories with eerie backstories. Remember, if you find yourself holding your breath, don't forget to breathe. This photo might appear intensely romantic at first glance. You might see in it a couple so swept away by love that they appear flustered. But that's the opposite of what was happening there. On April 2, 1954, John Gaunt, a photographer for the Los Angeles Times, was in the front yard of his beachfront home when he heard a commotion. Upon looking out towards the ocean, he saw this couple, clutching each other by the sea. They were running about, and John heard someone yell. It was a striking scene, so John grabbed his camera and took a picture of the couple. There was something about the couple that seemed off to him. They were clearly agitated. He put his camera aside and rushed to the shore. When he met the couple, he found out what was really happening, and the tragedy he'd inadvertently captured on camera. The couple's 19-month-old son, who had been playing in their yard, had somehow managed to wander off to the beach and had disappeared into the waves. The picture shows the couple standing on the shore, realizing their son is gone. The wife's face is clearly visible, etched with worry and fear, as she clutches her husband for support. The husband faces the sea, his profile staring intensely at the tide that took his child. This heart-wrenching photograph won a Pulitzer Award and also appeared on the front page of the Los Angeles Times. Its searing intensity makes it an image that sticks in your brain. Now what do you see here? If your first thought is a picture of a happy class, think again. There's something malignant hiding in this image. Mere weeks after this picture was taken, these 2 students, situated here at the top left of the image, would go on to slaughter all of their classmates in cold blood. The incident came to be known as the Columbine High School shooting of 1999, one of the deadliest school shootings in the history of America. Their names were Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold. In this picture, they can be seen pretending to aim guns at the camera. These are the same teens who went on a killing spree and ended up shooting 15 of their classmates and wounding 21 others. After the murders, they took their own lives, troubled in ways that damaged those around them forever. This picture suggests that they were corrupted by the culture around them. For example, the only thing they could think to do in response to a camera was to shoot it. Sometimes even happiness can remind us of the worst of tragedies. Here is one such example, a picture of carefree students that reminds us of what was lost and what is always lost in the event of murder: innocence, vitality, and belief in the goodness of the world. This image has managed to capture some of that, outside of time, outside of the reality of a world where innocence is often lost. Lost like tears in rain. This photo shows John Lennon, one of the founding members of history's most popular pop band, the Beatles, giving an autograph to a fan. What Lennon doesn't know, and perhaps you don't know either, is that this man is named Mark David Chapman, and just hours later, He will murder John Lennon in a psychopathic frenzy. Lennon was apparently on his way to the recording studio, but was approached by Chapman for an autograph. He signed the record and went on his way, oblivious as to what was about to happen to him. Upon Lennon's exit from the studio, Chapman fired several shots. He was able to shoot Lennon in the back and shoulder. Chapman stayed there at the scene until the police arrived, later telling the authorities that he had been incensed by some of Lennon's remarks about the popularity of the Beatles. In a press conference in 1966, Lennon remarked that the Beatles were more popular than Jesus, and that rock music might soon replace Christianity. Chapman apparently never forgot that comment. For context, this picture was taken on December 8, 1980, 16 years after Lennon said what he said. Chapman called it blasphemy. This picture captures the last moments of a musician who preached messages of peace and love. Lennon had no idea he was signing an autograph for a murderous individual. He only had faith in this person's humanity. This image hence captures Lennon's naivete as well as his being polite to a fan. You cannot ignore the darkness of the world. The odds of getting struck by lightning are only around 1 in 500,000 in a year. This photo of 18-year-old Michael McQuillan and his 12-year-old brother Sean was taken in 1975, where they were posing together for a shot at California's Morro Rock. As you can see, shortly before getting struck, their hair began to stand on end. They hurriedly had someone take a picture for them, unaware that they were moments away from being struck by lightning, which has the potential to be quite deadly. Both brothers survived the attack, but not without their fair share of injuries. Sean suffered third-degree burns to his elbows and back, and Michael barely made it out alive. They got out lucky. A hiker nearby died of a lightning strike during the same storm. You can see them both smiling widely in this image, which evokes the ignorant cheer of man in the face of great danger. These boys had no idea what they were in for. They only experienced an unexpected phenomena and didn't think to question it. Their hubris is endemic to mankind. Humans typically believe themselves to be invincible, even though nature reminds them again and again that they are not. This seemingly ordinary picture of a girl sitting on a float is anything but normal. It was taken in 1961 by one of the crew members of the ship that was sailing close to the girl. They were able to see her in time, and this picture was taken shortly before she was brought on board. Her name was Terry Jo Dupperalt, and she had been resting on a collapsible float. Upon questioning the girl, the crew of the ship learnt that Dupperalt's whole family had been murdered on their sailboat by their hired captain. The murderer left her to drown on the boat that the family had been sailing, after he caused it to capsize. Incredibly, Dupperalt survived by making it to a lifeboat. The 11-year-old drifted for 4 days without water or food, suffering from severe sunburns and heavy psychological trauma. Her survival on that small white craft was a miracle. When she was found, her hair had turned blonde because of the bleaching effect of sun rays, and she had been wearing a pale pink shirt. The crew almost didn't spot her. After this incident, the Coast Guard made it mandatory for rescue equipment to be orange, in order to increase visibility. In this image, you can see a young girl abused by the world around her. You just have to look closely to see her weak frame, and the vacant look on her face. It is the face of a young person forced into adulthood. Too soon, but that's the way of the world. Santa Claus, Father Christmas, the saint who delivers presents to children on Christmas. Most children realize they've been told a lie quite early on in their lives, but there are still some who believe. You can see some of them in this picture, crowded around a man dressed as Santa at a mall. You can see that they believe in him. This man's name is Bruce MacArthur. He was a landscaper for most of the year, but during the holiday season, he worked as a mall Santa in the city of Toronto in Ontario, Canada. Bruce MacArthur was a murderer. From 2010 to 2017, he lured men via a dating app to various places across the city. He would catch them by surprise, assaulting and killing them. He would spread their remains among planters' boxes at the properties he managed as a landscaper. MacArthur was found guilty of 8 counts of first-degree murder and is now serving life in prison. This image captures the darkness of human societies perfectly. Evil lurks where we least expect it. You can find it in the worst possible places, amidst children who are only looking to spend an evening with one of their heroes. MacArthur is only one such example. Look closely at the people around you and you'll find more. Lena Medina, born on September 23, 1933, was brought to a hospital by her parents when she turned 5. Her parents complained of excessive abdominal growth, and they brought her to the hospital in alarm. The doctors initially assumed it was a tumor, but the truth was much darker, and much more shocking. The 5-year-old girl was 7 months pregnant. Medina became the youngest documented mother in medical history at just 5 years, 7 months, and 21 days old. The poor girl had to give birth by C-section to a boy on May 14, 1939. Fortunately, her newborn was healthy, but the identity of the father of the child, the man who had molested this young girl, was never discovered. We only have this photo to remember the happening of this event, which has been verified based on medical documents from the case. You see an exhausted Medina lying in her bed, clearly on some kind of anesthetic, while a nurse holds the newborn child. The parents named the boy Gerardo. He was brought up believing that Lena Medina was his sister. He found out at 10 the reality of his existence, and the world at large. Gerardo died at the age of 39 from bone marrow disease. As of the 31st of May, 2022, Lena Medina lives in Peru with her family. She has always declined requests for interviews. Clowns. Do you fear them? There's a reason these ordinarily harmless individuals have the reputation of being murderous killers in disguise. Here is one such reason: John Wayne Gacy. Gacy, who went by the names Pogo the Clown or Patches the Clown while performing, was a convicted American serial killer and rapist from the 1970s. He appeared as a clown at children's birthday parties, but moonlighted as a murderer. Gacy sexually assaulted and murdered about 33 young males in just over 6 years. For this reason, he came to be known as the Killer Clown. He was caught after an investigation by local authorities, and was found to have bodies hidden under the floorboards of his home. He was sentenced to death in 1980. This is a picture of him taken at one of the children's parties he performed at. This image has managed to freeze a malignant stare upon his face, in a rare moment during which the mask he wore in public slipped. Even through the smiling face paint, you can see his mouth twist in an unpleasant sneer. His waving hand appears threatening, the balloons look like bombs. This picture has become famous because it revealed Gacy for who he was, before he was revealed to the world as a killer. In this off-the-cuff moment frozen in time, people were able to see who he really was. Those were 8 pictures from history with terrifying backstories. We hope you were able to learn something from hearing the tales behind these images. Let us know which image you found the most affecting, and stay tuned for more. Remember, there are depths to the world's darkness that we have yet to explore.